Choose a vacation of a lifetime.
I am so excited to finally let my hair down.
Not worry about being in control of everything and go have some fun.
Are you guys ready to turn up?
So, you may know him by his stage name as Jerome, but in fact, a lot of people don't know that your full name is Jerome Precilla. Did I get it correct?
Yes. It's Spanish. It's spelled Precilla, but the two L's make a Y.
Yes.
Most people can't pronounce it. So you did well.
I did well. See? Good morning to you, Jerome, and how are you?
I am good.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming in this morning. I know it's a really short notice and you're quite in demand. So it's nice to always just sneak you away from everything that's happening. So first of all, your decision to enter the entertainment industry, did you think you were going to reach so far?
I was always a part of the entertainment industry as a child growing up. To say I would think I would reach this far, never. Like, I have a group, I went to St. Mary's College, the CIC, and we have a little CIC chat group now. And the guys were saying, just yesterday after they saw the episode, they were like, we would have never dreamed that this would have happened, because we grew up like looking at Chili and Maya and Lil Kim on TV and hearing their music. So I never dreamt that I would have reached an international stage.
And being there, you're literally living the dream. How is it there?
It was a great experience, like working alongside
some of the greatest.
Yeah. It was like an awesome experience. But then I realized that in entertainment industry in the US is different from in Trinidad and Tobago, in that you have to be ready to go on the job.
Yeah.
So they would call today and they would say, "Hi, we need you in New York tomorrow." And I'd be like, "Oh?"
That's the Trinity mentality here.
And like, just like that. So they would send a ticket this afternoon and I'm in New York in the morning. And then they would send you back home tomorrow night. So it's like very, very, very fast paced. And then you have to be able to work long hours, because that's a reality TV show. So I woke up in the morning, before I get to brush my teeth, there's a camera. While I go to bed, there's a camera. Maybe up till like 4 a.m. still filming shots.
How different that is now. I know a lot of people may just know you from being an entertainer, but how different is that to your previous job, which you held at Petrotrin, is it?
Yeah.
How different is that, stepping into now you're just, you're doing your own brand, stepping away from that world into entrepreneurship. How different is it?
It's quite different, because at Petrotrin, I was an engineer, and then I became the head of the preventative maintenance department. So it was one where I was in charge of a couple of people and responsible for maintenance, basically, at Petrotrin, preventative maintenance, that is. So it was where I had a structured day. I had to work from 7 to 4, Monday to Friday. Some days you have overtime, but basically it was very structured. Now with entertainment, it's completely out of whack. As I said, I could be in New York in the morning, I could be here, I could be in LA. So it's very, very different in that aspect. And then being an entrepreneur now, I am now responsible for my own business. It's not where I'm getting a constant salary every month from Petrotrin. I have to make sure that I can make ends meet every month, which is risky for me, because I'm accustomed to, I work Petrotrin for 10 years, so I'm accustomed for 10 years, at the end of the month, paycheck is coming, right? Now, at the end of the month, I don't know. Some months, I have a lot of gigs, some months I don't. So I have to make sure and keep the business end of things in check, which I do.
Before we go any further though, who exactly is Jerome?
I am an entertainer in all aspects of my life. As even off the stage, I was always somebody that grew up as a child. I always get in the report book, Jerome is doing well, but he's too talkative. So it was always a case where I was always entertaining, always making jokes, always having fun, and that's my personality. And I just use that same personality as an entertainer. So people would know me mainly for my parang with Annie and Apu and all of those songs.
Yes.
And it's where I put my personality and my sense of humor into music. And then with my hosting, it's easy, again, because of my personality, to interact with an audience. Where I would host big corporate events, big government events, and they would have the Prime Minister there or ministers there, and I would be able to relate with them on a very basic level, because at the end of the day, they're just people.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing I applied to these American celebrities. At first, it's starstruck.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, this is really Lil Kim here?
Yeah.
Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, when I first came on the boat with them, I was like, wow, this is really Lil Kim, this is really mine, this is really chilly. But then we were living together, so their rooms were next to mine. So I lived with them for a couple of weeks.
Holy
So it was like, within 2-3 days, it became like normal.
Okay,
people.
yeah, well,
And they're very
like,
cool.
we're neighbors. Like,
Yeah,
okay, cool,
yeah,
You have brown sugar there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So walk me through it. When did you first found out that, okay, you got called up, you got this big deal is happening? How did it happen?
It happened where my manager gave me a call, perception management. They called and they said, could you take a call? So I was like, sure. He's like, it's going to be from an international agency and it's going to be a WhatsApp call. What happened was VH1 has subcontracted their production to a company called Big Fish Entertainment.
Okay.
And Big Fish Entertainment reached out to a company in Trinidad called dynamiccarnival.com, which is a website, a concierge service. So there's a friend of mine named Amari Shaw. He owns the company, well, part owner of the company, and they provide concierge services. So somebody come from the US or from Europe and they never heard about Trinidad, but they heard about Carnival.
Yeah.
So they want to get a hotel, they want to get a costume, flight tickets. They provide
they
this
go
service.
through that website. Right?
So Big Fish contacted them and said, "Here, we're looking for a male Caribbean guy who could fit this role. Could you recommend a couple of people?" So he recommended a couple
So
of
what
guys.
was the role they were looking for exactly?
They were looking for a fun director.
Okay.
Somebody who could bring fun and vibes and energy to the girls. To
Look
make sure
no
they're-
further.
Right. So when they interviewed me over WhatsApp call, a video call. And it was a real cool interview, and the girl said, "Tell me about Trinidad's Carnival." And when I told her what it was, she was like, "Your explanation was the best that we have heard so far." She was like, "After you explain what Carnival is about, you made me feel to come there now." So she was like, "We have to have you on the show," and that's how I got the opportunity. Within a day, they sent the contracts, and then within a couple of weeks, I was on a plane headed to New York.
Your first shoot, were you like nervous? Did everything flowed smoothly? How was it?
I was nervous. I was nervous because I wasn't sure what it was about.
Yeah.
I knew that it was reality TV.
Because it's a reality TV. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, people would have the perception that, okay, well, this is really reality. But then you would be told to, you know, it's scripted, right?
No, well, it's actually
It's
real.
real, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
it's actually real. So that's what I was nervous for, because I'm like, okay, this is real. It's not like you have lines to remember or nothing. It's like they just put you in a situation and they film. And that's it. It's real. So everything that all the interactions I have with these people are real. When you saw me asking Chili out on a date, it was real. I was asking her out, and that was her response. And I had they didn't say, well, okay, she's going to say this, and you have to say that. No.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, because a lot of people think that those things are scripted, so I'm glad you cleared that up for us.
No.
It's as real as it gets.
Yeah. As you see it, it's real.
Yeah. Very interesting there. So, being on set, you've been alongside Lil Kim, some of the greatest now. What has been your response home here?
Home here, for the majority, people are very, very proud to see Trinidad and Tobago on a world stage being represented.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day you wake up and you see a local guy just up in VH1, just being all casual and real, you know, because it's a reality series, so you're just being yourself there. It's not every day we see that, so I mean, it is commendable.
Yeah, and then I got some mixed reviews, because some people, for the first episode, they were like, where he get his accent from, he put on an accent, but then they didn't realize that Yes, I have my Trini accent, but I would have to speak properly
I
when
think
I'm
people
out
confuse
there.
speaking properly with
With an
having an
accent,
accent because
right.
they're so used to hearing this dialect, like.
No, I can
you know,
speak
like-
with dialect,
Yeah.
but again, it's time and place because
Yes.
if I speak quickly, like how I would speak to
Yeah.
a normal Trini,
Yeah.
they wouldn't understand me. So I need to slow down how I speak
Yeah.
and just pronounce my words properly and try not to use too much of the Trini slang
Yeah.
because they wouldn't know it. So I didn't want to be in a situation where, and it happened a couple of times on the boat where you're speaking to them, they don't understand what you're saying, you have to repeat yourself.
Yeah.
So instead of me having to repeat myself all the time, I'll just slow it
Slow
down
it
a
down,
bit,
yeah.
speak properly, and I still have my Trini accent. But for the most part, people are excited about the show, and they're glad to see that I rep Trinidad because I had the flag
Yes,
and my
I saw
armband.
it. Yes.
I'm a real proud Trini, so anywhere I go, I'm making sure I rep. Who vex lost?
I like that. I also see that you've released a song recently.
It's called Good Good on the Good Oi Rhythm.
Right, tell us about
So that song actually came out from the TV show. So after I came back from filming Girls Cruise, then I thought, I was like, wait now, they filmed the show in the Caribbean, so they're going to need Caribbean music
Yeah.
for the show. So why not pitch some music to them? So I went to the studio, Explicit Entertainment, a guy by the name of Mevon, he's a producer. He produces all my songs, my Parang,
Okay.
Afro. He was the guy responsible for that. And I told him, this is the idea I have. This is the show is about girls. So let's sing something about girls. So we came up with the idea, Good Good.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Teddy Rhymes, he's a writer. He flew in and we worked on the project. And then after we did the song, we said, you know what? Let's get some other people on it as well. So I invited Turner, Ola Tunji and Blacks, and we made it a rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah. And so far it's very, very well received. People love the song, they love the rhythm itself.
Well, I mean, you've been one who sings these songs that stands out, you know.
This is one of those. Yeah.
It's one of those. I expect no less.
Yeah, so
you know.
people asking who this song was for, if it was for Chili or was it for Maya or was it for Lil Kim. You would see as the season
As it
unfolds.
progresses.
you would see.
Yeah. What would you say is perhaps one of the biggest thing you took away from shooting, though, from the entire production?
The biggest thing I took from that, one is that these girls and these US celebrities do not have an easy life as we would think.
Yeah.
Is that we would see them on TV and we would see all the glitz and glam, but we don't see the real them. And that's what I saw living with these girls, is that they can't just go to the movies like a regular person. They can't just go to the mall as a regular person because they have fans who would come up to them.
Yeah.
And not only that is that their private life is never private.
Yeah.
So all the relationships that they were ever in, it's out there in the public life.
Yeah, you have no privacy.
Yeah, out in the public life. You have no privacy basically. So it's very difficult for them. I mean, I face it here in Trinidad on a much lower scale. But they have it on an international scale.
Yeah.
So the minute they step out,
And there's a lot of crazies out there too.
yeah, and then they have paparazzi. We don't really have paparazzi. If I go out to a party, you might have one or two photographers who will take a picture of you dancing or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is that they step out of their hotel room or their house, and there's a cameraman waiting to catch a picture of who's going home with you, or who you're leaving with, or who you're speaking with, or something like that. And that's mad. That's crazy.
How strong does your mind have to be to even make it in this industry?
I would say you have to have one of the strongest minds out of anyone on this earth to be in entertainment, and that's why you see a lot of entertainers turn to drugs, have drug abuse, and a lot of them are depressed because your mind is not sound. So you need to have a strong foundation before you can do something like this. As I now said, everyone is in your business. Everybody and their tanty has something to say about you. So you have to be able to just put on your blinders, stay in your lane and run your race. And don't think about anything that's going on around you. As I had a discussion with Mr. Hazy Crawford over the weekend, and I asked him about him being nervous running a race. And he said, once that gun sounds, you just see the finish line and you just keep running. And for me, That's how I move when it comes to entertainment. I know what my goals are, and I head towards that.
Don't
Everything
ever
else
lose
around me
focus.
is noise.
Yeah.
You have people who are going to support you, and you have people who are not going to support you.
Of course.
And that's okay. And you have
That's
to just
life, huh?
live with that. And that's life.
Yeah.
And in life, outside of being an entertainer too, you would know you have people who would like you and some people who wouldn't like you for some reasons. Sometimes people just do like you for no reason. They don't even know you, and they do like you.
Yeah, it's true.
So you just have to forget all of that, run your race, stay in your lane.
Stay focused. So we've touched on you making your international debut there. We've touched on the musical aspect of you. In terms of hosting, now June, July into August to an extent has been traditionally known as wedding season in this country. And moreover, throughout the world, if I could probably go far-fetched there. So you're one of the more popular wedding hosts. How has that been so far? Is it as busy as it used to be? Did the weddings kind of decrease? Or?
I would say, as eye on labor, and if we're looking at the economy, we have definitely seen a reduction, not in the number of weddings, meaning that people will still get married, but people are now definitely looking at their budget in terms of a wedding. And for me, being a wedding host, it is not a necessity, meaning that yes, you do need a wedding host, but some people are watching, do they need a celebrity wedding host for their wedding? Now, before, the years prior, they would have hired a celebrity wedding host because they would have had the money. So now, as people are watching their pockets, they're watching, okay, could we cut out, what costs could we cut out? And they might actually cut out the celebrity wedding host as a part of it. So I have seen a reduction in some aspects, but then because of my popularity increasing, it has balanced off for me. So normally where I would have gotten a certain number of weddings leading up into June, I would see like a peak more in July and August with the show launching and all of that. I would have seen, so for me it balanced off. So it didn't really affect me much, but I've definitely seen the industry where people started to cut out extras in their wedding. And some of the weddings that I've hosted too, you would see where someone would normally have like extravagant stuff, like grand stuff, fireworks, and they would have a guest artist coming to sing. They started to cut out some of those things to cut back on their budget. So you have definitely seen a change.
When you look at the labor force, the labor market itself, does it worry you? You know, I mean, you're an entrepreneur, so from that view, when you look at the regular, probably the oil and gas industry, does it bother you? Does it concern you?
It does concern me because I've seen, I also owned a restaurant. I had a restaurant for 4 years. It was Quick Slice Pizza on Arpita Avenue.
Yes, I always wondered where it went.
And we definitely felt the pinch of the economy, where when the first 2 years of the business was booming. Arpita Avenue was busy, buzzing with people all the time. And then in the last 2 years of the business, we started to see a decline in numbers of people on the avenue, and obviously it affected our business. And two things with that. One was the economy, and two was the crime situation. So it definitely affected businesses. We started to see businesses closing up one by one on Arpita Avenue. So even if you go on the avenue now, it's not the same as it was a couple of years ago, where that was the hub of entertainment. Everyone was going there. There were clubs, the bars, places started to close down and people started to downscale. And then it started to affect the malls, because we were looking for a place in the mall to open a restaurant, and you couldn't get a spot in the mall to rent. But now there are a lot of spots in the malls where you could open a restaurant, a lot of mall spots, a lot of stores you see closing down. And then with Petrotrin closing down, a lot of businesses around in the Marabella area had to close down as well, because most of their customers were Petrotrin workers, and then they had the contractors.
And that's what I say, you know, by the shutting down of Petrotrin, the workers alone weren't the one who felt the pinch. Like everybody around there who provided, so you had restaurants, you had little smaller shops, and everybody felt it at the end of the day. And you being someone who were in that industry for 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Yeah. Does it concern you? Does it worry you?
Yeah, it does, because I still have past co-workers who are home, who are struggling, and then people saying petroleum workers going home with millions of dollars, and that's what's being published in the media, and they kind of made the public not feel sorry for petroleum workers, because they're saying they all are making so much money and whatever. But if you think about it this way, the package that we went home with was based on a number of years service.
Yes.
So it was one where you went home with, I had friends who went home with, because it was based on number of years permanent service too, right? So you had people who went home with 3 months salary, people who went home with 6 months salary, and some people who went home with 10 months salary based on how many years you worked. Now, when you think of it, if somebody gets a couple $100,000 to go home with, but that's 10 months salary. So in 10 months, it's done.
Enough, yeah.
What's going to happen after those 10 months? It's done.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I'm glad you brought that up, because I remember reading somewhere that petroleum workers were actually underpaid.
When you compare our salaries to the other oil and
so
gas
I think
sectors.
that Trinidad and many people in this country, we got so used to the low standard of salaries. So when you see somebody actually getting a relatively decent salary, like they're overpaid. But y'all were underpaid.
When people say petroleum workers were making a lot of money and they say they're making too much of money, I don't think they were comparing our salaries to the sectors. You see, you can't compare a teacher's salary to an oil worker's salary. And one of the main reasons why you can't compare those two salaries is because of the risk that you have to go through when you work there. When I worked at Petrotrin, we were exposed to high risk. You're exposed to a lot of gases that could be dangerous to your health. That's why Petrotrin had such a good medical plan, because you had to be doing checkups all the time. Remember, these are hydrocarbons that are getting in your system, so you don't know how your body is going to react.
You're more prone to get
you could get a lot of illnesses. You could develop into cancer later on. You don't know, and they don't have studies to prove whether the deaths after you left Petrotrin were related to your work. So you don't know. So you're going through that risk. 1, 2, you're going through the risk of a fire. If there's an explosion on the plant, you really think you're going to survive that?
That's it for you.
That's it for you. A teacher doesn't have that risk, or someone that works in the bank don't have that risk.
Like a teacher may have risks, but not that serious.
Right, so everyone has risk in their job, but not to that extent. So when you're paying someone a salary, you're paying them based on that risk as well. That they have to go through. It'll be a lot more danger that we have to face on a daily basis versus the average person.
Coming out of that oil and gas industry, you told me that entertainment ran in your blood since you were small. Did you think that perhaps another field, you were going to go into another field, or you just knew, okay, oil and gas, nah, this is not working out, let me just go into entertainment? So was it like that, or how did it?
No, it was, for me, it was one where I was always doing the entertainment while I was working at Petrotrin.
Oh yes, I do remember that.
So I would use my vacation, take the time off, and then go and sing around Christmas time, or on a weekend, travel and sing and come back and all of that. So I was doing both of them simultaneously. But when Petrotrin closed down, I decided, okay, not to go back, because I got offers from other companies to come and join, and I decided, no, I'm not going to go back into engineering just as yet. Let me try to do entertainment full time, because it's a passion of mine that I love doing. Right. So let me try it full time and see how it goes. So far, so good. I can't complain. There hasn't been a month that has passed where I couldn't make ends meet financially. So in the business side of things, entertainment-wise, I am good to go. How long it would last, that's something I would need to consider. Because with entertainment, it doesn't have a pension plan. Versus if you're working a full-time job, I mean, you have a pension plan.
No, these are things that you would have to now put in for yourself.
So I have to put in for myself. And a lot of entertainers don't do that. So that's why you would see.
Well, I hope you do.
Well, yeah, for me, I'm different, because I came from a different background, and they didn't have that knowledge when they were young. So now they have to keep performing in their 60s and 70s, and some of them in their 80s. They still have to keep performing to make money, because they would not have been advised at a young age to make sure to put things in place for when you retire. So, I mean, if I could speak out to any entertainer out there, if you're doing this, make sure that You put things in place for when you
for later
retire.
on,
Yeah, because
yeah.
it doesn't come with a pension plan.
What keeps you going?
I am a very unique individual in that I have my own personal drive. It's not something that, and it sometimes is a problem, is I can't stay still. I can't just
Yeah.
sit home and do nothing.
Stagnancy doesn't work well with you.
No, it does
Okay.
not. It does not. I must I have to keep moving all the time. I must have a new project that I'm working on, and for me, it's not money. So money doesn't drive me at all. So if someone comes and says, I offer you how much, about tens of thousands of dollars to
Yeah.
do this, if I'm not interested in it, I wouldn't do it. What really drives me is passion. So music wakes me up in the morning. I love music and entertainment. I love going to my morning show and just making people happy, having them laugh.
Yes,
and
they
that's what,
tassel dancing.
yeah, my tassa
All that.
dancing. That's what makes me happy. And again, it's not about the money. It's new opportunities for me, new experiences. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
And just learning along the way all the time.
You're never too old to learn.
No.
You brought up something very interesting just now when you were talking about the crime situation. Now, it's been touted about in media so many times that, because of the fact that our crime rate has been up recently, investment into Trinidad from an international perspective is kind of difficult. So how big of a deal was it for VH1, first of all, to be contacting not just Trinidad, but you?
Right, so them contacting me was very easy. In terms of the crime situation, that wasn't a barrier
Okay.
for entry at all. But I can tell you this, that when we came to the different islands, so with VH1 you have a huge production team. You have your camera crew, your audio team, you have your cast, you're talking probably like 60 something people on this project. Now, with that comes a security element of it. When we went to Barbados, they have a security briefing before we get off the boat.
Yeah.
When they briefed us on Barbados, they said, well, this is Barbados, we're looking out for this and that and the other, make sure to stay close together, keep it security.
Do I want to know when they came to Trinidad?
When they came to Trinidad, I felt ashamed. I was embarrassed as a Trini because it sounded as though we landed in the Gaza.
Oh my God.
It was, okay, ladies and gentlemen, please listen carefully. We are here in Trinidad and Tobago. They are known for knife crimes, for gun crimes, and keep out of these areas and this and that and stay close. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my home. I'm telling you all come here and you'll be safe. But
Yeah, boy. That does not sound too
it
inviting.
doesn't sound too inviting. It sounded as though you are entering a war zone.
Yeah.
So when I came here, because we traveled from Barbados to Tobago, then to Trinidad, it was around Carnival time. And every time I left the boat, I had a minimum of 4 security guards with me at all times. So the boat docked in the Hyatt, and for me to go anywhere, these 4 guys had to position themselves right around.
Yeah.
And anyone that approached me, they would intercept them. Even if it was friends or family
Yeah.
members or anything, they intercepted them. And I had to tell them, I was like, guys, you could relax, I'm from here,
You're
I'm
home.
safe here. And they were like,
Yeah.
no, they can't afford for anything to happen to me
Yeah.
because I'm the
Well,
responsibility
it is on
of
that
VH1.
side, they looked out for you all, the security on their end. I mean, you have to look out for you.
Yeah, I mean, security was tight like a khaki pants on that show. We were going through the streets in Port of Spain, playing mass, but we had security watching us at all times.
How was their reception to our culture here?
It was mixed because initially, and I was nervous for that because initially I knew that our culture is perceived in the world as a very sexual culture when it comes to carnival because the type of costumes are kind of skimpy.
And then now dancing is
and then
always...
the dancing is
Yeah.
very suggestive. So initially they were like, whoa, what is this? And then they realized it was just dancing.
Yeah.
Because it could look like something else, but no, it was really just dancing. So and you would see it as the season unfolds. And when they came here, they loved it. And they wanted to come back. So they
I do hope they come back.
Yeah, they already spoke to me. They want to come back to Trinidad and Tobago. That kind of thing.
Any further plans for you in that aspect of your life?
Yes, so last year I went to Los Angeles and I always try to learn something new every year, a new course.
That's really nice.
In whatever my field is. So last year I went and I did a TV hosting course in LA. This year I did this reality TV show. So later in the year, or maybe early next year, I plan to do some acting courses back in LA as well. So that from this I can make the move from reality TV into either sitcoms or into movies.
Okay.
With the acting.
Okay. So you can say bye to the oil and gas industry permanently.
No, but
Okay.
the thing with oil and gas is that I always
It's
have it there as
depleting
as a backup plan.
Yeah, and I mean the industry has been depleting. We've said time and time again about diversification, and I think the entertainment industry, you're doing it. You're doing it because we've heard time and time again. Okay, we must diversify the economy. We must go into sports, tourism, entertainment, but we haven't really seen it so far.
Right.
What do you think is one way we can possibly diversify the economy away from oil and gas?
I have been lobbying for this for years. I've been seeing it on the radio, on social media, that we definitely need to move away from it, because what we are not seeing is that those other islands are flourishing without oil and gas. And I think Trinidad and Tobago uses oil and gas as a crutch.
Yeah.
And a day will come when we wouldn't have it. We don't know when it is, but that day will come, and it's looking closer and closer as we go by. You see Petrotrin just closed down. And when I was in Petrotrin, you would see, Petrotrin will never close down. And it closed down. So I think we could look at other avenues, especially tourism. When VH1 came to Tobago in particular, and they approached Tobago from the sea. Normally we would land in Tobago, or you would come from Scarborough. Yeah. We approached Tobago on this yacht from Charlottesville.
Okay.
Christy, it was beautiful. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Like seeing it, everybody was like, where is this place? It looks like something out of a movie. When you look at a Caribbean island, it looks just like that. So I think we should look more at tourism and getting people to come here, because our tourism sector kind of only focuses on Carnival.
Yeah.
A lot of
and there is so much more to offer.
There's so much more
country.
to Trinidad and Tobago than just Carnival. Because when those guys said that they wanted to come back to Trinidad, it wasn't only for Carnival. Because they asked me, could they come in June? What is there to do in June? What is there to do in the summertime? What is there to do around Christmas? Because they don't want to come only for Carnival. They
I think they love
Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas here. and that's one of the things, Christy, people don't see that.
Yeah.
At Trini, Christmas is one of the best Christmases in the world.
It's very unique.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
The music, the culture, the food.
Yeah.
And we don't have big Christmas tourism. How many foreigners do we see here around Christmas time?
Yeah, it's true.
It's very few. We can market Christmas. We can market Parang. So we have a lot of avenues that we could diversify the economy. I think we're sleeping on it. We could definitely maximize on it.
Yeah. And we could definitely do more parongs, like...
Yeah,
I'm sure you can contribute
yes,
to
yes,
that.
yes.
In terms of your inspiration, what has inspired you and what keeps you inspired?
Inspiration.
No, I'm not talking about motivation. We spoke about motivation. Motivation is your drive, your passion.
Yeah.
But inspiration.
Inspiration, I would say, a couple of people in my life inspired me. And two of those people I would say are my parents, my mother and my father. I was lucky to grow up in a household where we had strong family values. So why I was inspired and what inspired me was really that my father was not a rich man, neither my mother. So they were middle income. Yeah. And they had 5 children, and we grew up in Malabar in Arima, which people see as like what they would say a ghetto area. Yeah. It wasn't bad. And I saw my parents sacrifice and work hard for their children to make sure that we had. Yeah. They were not extravagant. They never took trips because they couldn't afford it. But they made sure that their children all had an education and that they got somewhere in life. And that inspired me to believe that with the little resources that they had, look where I reached. Yeah. So with the resources that I have now, I could help so many other people to reach even further. And that's what inspires me, that you could use what you have. And that's why I would always tell people, use what you have. Don't look at what you don't have. Because you can't.
I think that's what most people tend to do sometimes.
Yeah, you're watching everybody else and seeing what they have, and look at what this man have, and look at this car he drive, and look at that.
And you forgot what you have.
That has nothing to do with you have. And one of the main things that we have talent.
Yeah.
Within each one of us, you have a talent. You may not know what it is
I
yet.
don't know what it is.
Figure out what it is.
I think it's sleeping.
I thought about that too.
I think it's
Figure out
eating or
whatever your
something.
talent is and hone your talent and just go at it.
Yeah.
A lot of young people come and ask me this question. If you want to be a host or you want to be someone that is a television presenter or somewhere where you have to use your voice, reading is the most important thing. I would give kudos to Paul Richards. Paul Richards was training me to be the sports anchor at a point in time for back then it was CTV, now TTT. And I did it for a while. And what Paul told me was read aloud
Out loud.
every day.
Yeah.
I would never forget that. Never, ever, ever forget that. And that alone helped me in terms of your pronunciation, in terms of your vocabulary, because when you read aloud, you'll bounce up words that you don't know. You go in the dictionary and always Google, find out the name of it, how is it pronounced. Read aloud every day. I would give you that advice. I would say always keep learning. So even where I am now on VH1, look, I want to still do courses. I did a master class in TV presenting with Dominic Prasad and Lisa Wickham. I did the radio broadcasting course with Star Broadcasting. So I always purchase books on TV hosting, on presenting, on the music industry. Is always about learning. You're never too old to learn, and keep on learning, keep on sharpening yourself in whatever you want to do. So if you want to make it out there, keep on learning, keep on striving, and don't ever feel you're too big to go for an audition. So at a point in time when I was back at Synergy TV, I was hosting a couple of TV shows, and somebody called me for an audition. And I thought, I was like, but I went on this TV show and that TV show and whatever, and people know who I am. I don't need to go and audition for a job again. It should be either you want me or you don't want me. And that, at that point, was my ego speaking. That was a big mistake because I didn't get the job because I didn't go to the audition. So what you need to do is show up first. That's the biggest thing. Show up. Put your ego aside and show up and do it. This VH1 show was an audition. They interviewed me over WhatsApp. So don't ever have your ego. Put that aside. Go. You want a job? Go for it. Audition for it. Reach out to somebody. Have a show
I
reel.
think your circle is important too.
Right, network. Go out there and meet some people in the industry and always be prepared. So the thing with the VH1 show is that they ask me for clips of performances, of me hosting, that kind of thing. Be prepared. If you want to get into entertainment or hosting, chances are people are going to ask you for a show reel. So make sure you prepare a show reel so that when they ask you for it, you have it.
Yeah.
They're going to ask you for a show reel, they're going to ask you for a headshot, a body shot, and a bio. That's the 4 things that most networks are going to ask you for. Make sure you have that at all times, at the go. The newspaper, people are going to ask you for that too. They're going to say, hey, we have an article, I heard that you have a new show in VH1, send us some things that you did a photo shoot, professional photos, send them all your pictures. Make it as easy as possible. Send them your own bio. So they know how much work to do. You can even do a write-up on whatever project you're working on. Send it to them. So all they have to do is edit a little bit and print.
What keeps you grounded?
What keeps me grounded is my family and my friends. I have a very, very small circle of people around me. I am someone where I have a big personality. I will go out there and, hi, how you going? And very friendly. But when it comes to friends, I have probably 5. Very, very small circle of people around me. And my family, as I grew up in a household where we were big, big, big on family values and big on religion as well. So we would go to church a lot. So my religion and my love of God keeps me grounded. I'm not to say I don't want to be a hypocrite and say I'm a big church boy and I'm a saint. I'm definitely not a saint, but I keep myself grounded. I would try to read the Bible every morning, at least a chapter for the day, and then I would meditate, which is something I always recommend to young people, because we don't see, we think it's some kind of kumbaya thing, and it's you don't have to do that, but meditation, for me, I would just take 10 minutes a day to meditate, and what it does is that it brings different thoughts into your mind. You just sitting still, sometimes I play music, and you're just focusing on your breathing, and you would see thoughts would just come rushing to your mind. So a lot of the decisions that I make would come within that 10 minutes for the day, because it clears my thoughts and it brings new thoughts, versus always on WhatsApp or on Facebook or on YouTube or on whatever. It kind of clouds your thoughts with different other people's thoughts from around the world, and you don't get to think for yourself. And sometimes you need to just sit quietly for a moment, and I do it sometimes with big decisions. Yeah, if I have a big decision to make in my life, I would just sit quietly and just think about it. 10 minutes. And then at the end, make my decision.
Do you ever get exhausted, and if so, how do you deal with it?
I do. I burn the candle on all ends.
Yikes.
And what happens is that sometimes my body would shut down. So I would end up getting sick because of that. So I learned that in the past, so now I try to plan. I'm a real old man, so I have a daily planner.
No, that is commendable, man.
And I have to write down every single thing. So I have all my appointments written for the day, and I plan my week, let's say either a Friday or a Sunday, for the week ahead. And in that, what I do to prevent burnout, I would schedule, take a drink with the boys, go cinema, go out on a date, go to the beach, go to church, spend time with family, and you would see that written in my plan for the week, so that I wouldn't just have work all the time.
Yeah, because I was now going to ask you, how do you balance it?
Yeah, so with that daily planner, I would pencil it in. So sometimes people may even feel a how, and they would say, hey, less time this week now, and I would say, well, my week, this week already book up, but next week, and I'll put you in, and we'll line next week. Or somebody wants an interview, I'll say, well, this week book up, and we can do the interview next week, to make sure I have that balance.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you your closing comments.
I would say, well, one is eye on labor. I'm definitely hoping to see Trinidad and Tobago diversify in terms of the economy away from oil and gas, and I'm big on tourism, and I think that we are right now sleeping on a lot of different avenues that we could explore in terms of tourism. Even with this TV show, I'm kind of disappointed that it is not being marketed by the Trinidad and Tobago government outside of Trinidad and Tobago, because it is one where Trinidad and Tobago is going to be featured on a big way on a world stage, and that I think they should capitalize on it. Take me out of the equation, because I'm not studying me, I'm studying country, right? I already got the show, I already got paid, so I good. But use it as a platform to encourage other TV shows to come here to film. Use it as a platform to showcase what Trinidad and Tobago has to offer. Show the other countries. You have Lil Kim, who went on different talk shows in the US to talk about the TV show, and she big up Trinidad and Tobago. She spoke highly of us. She was like, she went to Trinidad and Tobago, and it's such a beautiful place, and the culture and the people and the food, and nowhere have I see that video clip in Trinidad. I saw that on someone that's in the US profile, and I was like, we should have taken this clip, sponsored an ad, and sent it out. But that did not happen. So what I'm saying is that we dropping the ball in those aspects.
Did they try doubles?
They love doubles. I think if we have a national food, it's going to be doubles. I thought it was pilau, but I feel it's doubles.
Really? No, I think I still pilau.
You think pilau is our national food? Nah, I go with doubles, because every time somebody comes to Trinidad and Tobago,
they must try
have
doubles and roti.
They must try doubles and they must try roti. And if they go to Tobago, they must try a crab and dumpling.
Of course. But there's also bacon shark.
Oh, bacon shark, yeah, bacon shark. They tried a couple of the items, and they love doubles. One of the things with the doubles that they love is that both Chili and Maya are vegans.
Okay.
So remember, doubles are no meat in it.
Yeah. So it's like right there.
Yeah, so they love it as a vegan option for them. They were kind of worried about it being fried because they're very health conscious. And I was like, yo, relax. One double thing, okay. Eat it. And they had it and they loved it.
Well, I mean, you have the Trini influence there too. So
Yeah.
Jerome, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning. We've learned a lot about you yourself. Thank you for enlightening us, and thank you for sharing your views and your opinions and everything related to the entertainment industry, not just that, but the marketing of Trinidad and Tobago on a larger scale, and not just sleep on our talent, sleep on tourism, like you rightly said. And who knows, we may see him in the oil and gas industry if it ever. You never know.
I might actually do some consulting. So I mightn't just get rid of, do away with it. I might do the entertainment and do some consulting as well. Because I mean, I already have a degree and a master's in engineering, so I don't want to put that to waste. So I'll probably do some consulting on the side to keep both the engineering and the entertainment going at the same time.
E&E. Okay.
Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Thank you so much. So it's on that note, we've come to the end of today's show. I'm your host, Christy Callising. On behalf of all of us here at PSA TV, here's wishing you a very blessed day.
Aye. It's Rome. This guy, you got the goodie. Good. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good, you got it good, you got it good. So good. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good. From the time that we wine, girl, something take over me. Let's do this all night, I love it totally. Close my eyes and I smile, girl, this feels so right, baby. Let's do this all night, I love it totally. You're hot like a Sunday lunch. You tick like a peanut punch. You want banana, girl, take the bunch. Take it from the back and front. Hey girl, me a pro, me no novice. Always a me aim on target. You want walk step into me office now. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh good. Hear me now, hear me. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, good. Girl, you fit like a fiddle with a split in the middle while you bounce on the bass and ride pon me treble, girl. Fit like a fiddle, split in the middle while you bounce on the bass and ride pon the treble, girl. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good. Girl, you sweet like a Julie mango. From your head right down to your toe. I them light up like a flambeau. When I see you wind down to the floor. Hey girl, me a pro, me no novice. Always a me aim on target. You want walk step into me office now. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh good. Hear me now, hear me. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh girl. You got it good. You got it good, oh good. Hey, from the time that we wine, girl, something take over me. Let's do this all night, I love it totally. Close my eyes and I smile, girl, this feels so right, baby. Let's do this all night, I love it totally. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good, you got it good. You got it good, you got it good.